Hello and welcome to another episode of Foodstuffs, the only cooking show where you get to learn stuff. Anyway, we're doing an Irish pub soup. You can find it in this recipe or the cookbook, 365 easy one-dish meals. It's a pretty good one. These are what you're gonna need. You're gonna need 1 pound of bacon, 2 large carrots. I kind of use a little bit more than that. A half cup of celery tops chopped. I use a little bit more than that too. 2 large leeks, 4 pounds of russet potatoes, 2 cans of chicken broth, originally beef broth, but I changed it over to chicken broth. 1.5 quarts of water, half tablespoon of pepper, 2 cups of cheddar cheese, and half cup of chopped parsley, which I do not use. Start things off. Cut your leeks to size. I cut off just cut off the top part. Like, no one uses the top part. I've never seen a recipe that you actually have to possibly use the top part, so you just use that, cut off the ends, and go from there. Like, the leek is actually nice. It's very closely related to onion in a way. Like, it has that same flavoring to it. Very good, actually, when you cook it right. It's very unique when it comes to taste, so definitely try to pick something up for that. Good for stir fries, good for Asian style things. Pretty good too. What I usually do to cook it, I usually cut it like lengthwise and I cut it across, just to make sure it cooks evenly. Just so that you can get that, it's just what I personally do to make things work. And it works for me every time. After that, you gotta just go right on to just keep on chopping your vegetables. Definitely chop your vegetables before you chop any raw meats, which in this case is going to be the bacon again. I didn't do that like the first time I did one of these cooking videos, and people were saying, "Why'd you do that? Why are you scared of bacteria from it?" I'm like, "Yes, of course. I just did it kind of out of order." Which everything was getting cooked at the time, like at the same time, so it was like basically going to get rid of all the bacteria and stuff while you're cooking it, because bacteria don't like heat. And as you can see, I took a little bit, like I said, I took a little bit more than just 2 carrots for that, and I did the same thing with the celery because I like to add a little bit more vegetables to my soups, just because vegetables are, they're pretty good, they're very good for you. So you can just do it that way. I kept everything together. I didn't even have the right knife right there. I just used a cheese knife because my good cutting knife was actually in the dishwasher at the time. But yeah, it works either way, so why am I complaining? I didn't really think this one through when I skinned out the potatoes. I should have actually had the bowl kind of open that I can actually do that, but you live and learn. Just, little things. Just little things that you can probably do to better yourself as a cook. It's okay, folks, you can trust me, I'm a chef. Not professionally, I'm just a home cooker. Just see me when I make some mashed potatoes, because they are delicious. Next comes the bacon. Like I said, leave this to the very end. Cut them into little cubes like this, and then you get to cook them right away. So you get that nice aroma of bacon in the kitchen as you're doing it. Just make sure it's a nice crispy bacon, or you can just leave it a little bit squishy. Make sure it's just cooked. You don't want to ingest any raw meats or anything, just because it could be pretty bad for you. And it's going to be great bacon. It's starting to really cook now, as you can see with all the steam coming off it. Definitely want to get rid of separate it from the bacon grease. You're not going to be needing the bacon grease after this, so you can just toss it, or save it if you so choose to cook with it. I tend to toss it because I don't really cook with bacon grease. No, I really don't do too much of that. I'm on a healthier kick, so I don't keep the bacon grease, which is why I'm using a slotted spoon. Man, oh man, look at that bacon. That's a whole pound of bacon. And also, just be careful with the bacon grease too, because it's going to be very, very hot. I have spilled bacon grease on top of like my hand and stuff. It hurts. Then after you dump out the bacon grease, put the potatoes in. Put your veggies. Leeks. Then put the celery and carrots in there. Then you got yourself some nice fixings for a good soup. I already pre-opened up the chicken broth over here as well, which you could use too. There you go. Originally, the rest of the cookbook said to use beef broth, but I prefer to use chicken broth. Then you just add some water. I tend to use it until you can actually cover it. The rest of the vegetables inside the pot, just so you can cook it properly. So definitely go for that. Just like that. Yep, one more I did. Whoops. But like I said, just, you know, I tend to just fill the rest with water. Kind of dilutes the chicken broth as well. But you don't lose flavor with that anyway. Put a lid on it, set it, and forget it for another, I'd say about 20 minutes or so until it boils, and then you turn down just a little bit more, then just cook it for about 30 to 40 minutes. Let it simmer until you're ready to take it off the heat. Then you can just put it into your blender. So just let that cook until you just have time to puree it. Add the bacon. I'm not too sure if you're actually really supposed to blend the bacon together with the soup itself, but I tend to do that just so I can really get the bacon flavor into the soup. I'm using a Ninja blender right over here, which is an awesome device. If anybody gets to pick one up, definitely pick it up. It does wonders. I first separated out the broth first, and I put all the vegetables in, and I just tend to do more of the vegetables afterwards. It makes it very thick, as you can see. It's a very hearty soup, with all the potatoes, so definitely add a little bit of salt, not too much, a little bit of pepper. Then add the final ingredient. Like I said, I didn't use the parsley, but I used a lot of cheese. More than 2 cups. Because let's face it, cheese is pretty awesome. So when you're all set with that, get yourself a dish and dig in. Good stuff ahead of you. Look at that. Perfect. Looks good. Thanks for checking out this video. I got more in the future. And like a thumbs up for the cat.